Manderson.
Welcome back to Sports Tuesday. I am Steve Manderson. Okay, I'm back. So, a lot of things went on. Right now, I want to talk about the NBA playoffs that concluded a little over a week ago. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors on another championship, their third in the last 4 years over the same team over the last 4 years, the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was a four-game sweep, and it had drama. It had a lot of drama. And I'll tell you, it all started with game one, and a game which had a lot of issues. And I'll tell you, it is a combination of the refs, blunders by J.R. Smith, and the coach Tyrone Lue in the later minutes of the game. This game was tight, and the thing about it was that people got to stay focused, and especially people like J.R. Smith, not knowing what the score was ridiculous in those final seconds. Where first of all, the missed shot by George Hill at the foul line, that should have never have happened. But okay, you get the rebound, and instead of putting the ball back up or looking for an open teammate, you pretty much dribble back, further out to midcourt line, thinking that you guys had the lead, which I could not believe. And if you saw the look on LeBron's face, I thought he was going to punch him out right there on the court. That's what I thought. And really, you think about it, he should have. Instead, I'll tell you what he did in just a little bit. That combined with a charge call that LeBron didn't get, and then Tyrone Lue not knowing that he had an extra timeout. All of that resulted in a loss in game one, in which, unknown to us throughout the rest of the finals, LeBron James punched out a blackboard and played games two, three, and four with pretty much a broken hand, which explained a lot of why he was taking less and less jump shots and getting his baskets in the paint. And he did a lot more passing than we normally see him do, although he is an excellent passer. So a lot of this came out at the end of game four when it was already over, and that blew me away. It was smart for him to conceal that information throughout the finals because it would have been a real media circus at that point if that information had came out beforehand. So I'll tell you, the fact that it was a four-game series really didn't surprise me, mainly because Cleveland, in my opinion, should have never went that far. I said it from the beginning, they should have been eliminated in the first round by Indiana, but Indiana did not get the job done. I give a lot of credit to LeBron for his heroics. He basically was a one-man show, and with some contribution from Kevin Love, but not all the time. Pretty much no production out of J.R. Smith. And I said this again about their bench. Their bench is lousy. Okay. You're talking about Clarkson, Hood, and Larry Nance Jr. None of them got the job done. And that series was an embarrassment. Game one, Cleveland should have won. Game two was a blowout. They come back to Cleveland. Game three has always been an important game in any series. And this was a game that Cleveland had to win and was playing it well up until they broke down in the third quarter. And pretty much they blew an opportunity to make it 2-1, mainly because Steph Curry and Klay Thompson did not have good shooting games at all. Both of them shot very poorly, but they did the other things that had to be done, like play defense. Curry looking for the open man, mainly Kevin Durant. And on a night where Curry and Thompson had bad shooting games, Durant lit him up for 43 and pretty much won this game by himself in the second half. And then game four, an embarrassing 23 point loss by Cleveland. And that was it. Now the question remains, where does LeBron go after this? He's a free agent come the 29th of this month. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I say he goes to the Lakers. There are other teams that were thrown out there. The 76ers, which I think will not is not a good idea. That team is up and coming, and they pretty much have the pieces set for their future in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Simmons basically needs to improve on his perimeter game. Once he does that, he will be tremendous. He's in line for Rookie of the Year. He's competing with Donovan Mitchell from Utah. I would say give it to them both. Then there's talk about LeBron possibly going to Houston. Again, I think that's not a good idea either. That team basically is set with offense. LeBron being there will really cause some issues there with Chris Paul there and Harden. I mean, you put LeBron on this team, Harden doesn't get the ball as much as he does now. And you know how egos are. You don't get the ball, there's going to be problems. And I personally feel if he went to Houston, a couple of people got to go, and that would be Trevor Ariza for one. So we'll see. We'll see. I personally feel he should go to the Lakers. This is a up and coming team. There's a possibility that Paul George might wind up there where he lives out in L.A. LeBron has a house out in L.A. So I say go there. And for me, Magic Johnson will welcome LeBron with open arms, without a doubt. The key here is with LeBron with the Lakers, he can teach Lonzo Ball how to be a leader because he's far from it at this time. And Lord knows he'll get the proper guidance far more than he would get from his father, who is a complete jerk. So I'd say LeBron goes to the Lakers. I think that's a good move. Other things about the NBA playoffs, there's some surprises. The New Orleans Pelicans doing a 4-game sweep of the Portland Trailblazers in the first round, which that surprised me personally. I didn't see that one coming. I really didn't. But I'm just thinking what the Pelicans would be like had DeMarcus Cousins didn't go down with the Achilles injury, but he'll be back next year. The Pelicans are going to be strong. I thought that their coach, who right now they Alvin Gentry. I'm sorry, I almost forgot his name. I thought Alvin Gentry this year did his best coaching job with this team. I was totally against him getting the job anyway. I was pretty upset that when Monty Williams was fired and replaced with Gentry. Gentry up until this year did not really do a great job as a head coach with teams in the past. He did a great job here, and I look at bigger and better things for the Pelicans for next year in a very tough, always tough Western Conference. One of the more embarrassing teams this year was the Toronto Raptors. They were the number one seed this year, and only to get swept by the Cavaliers in the second round. They almost could have been eliminated by the Wizards in the first round. That series went 6 games when it shouldn't have been. So I knew there the Raptors had some problems. To get swept by the number 4 seed team, Cleveland, that really made no sense to me. It really didn't. So, it I don't see which resulted in Dwayne Casey getting fired. And now he is the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, which I see his work is cut out with that team as well, even with Blake Griffin on there. The new coach for the Raptors is their assistant, Nick Nurse. But I'll tell you, this is a team that has to pretty much be broken down and restructured. Dwayne Casey coached this team for 7 years, and really there was not this his seventh and final season was actually the best season for the Raptors. They were the number one seed. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference with the best home record in the conference. And for them to get swept like they did is totally unacceptable. So another team that is headed in the right direction and well coached is the Boston Celtics. It was unfortunate that they lost out to Cleveland in 7 games, and especially Game 7 being at home in Boston, and they couldn't get it done. Whether it would have made a difference in they would have made a difference in the finals. I doubt it. But the idea of this young team going to the finals would have been very, very nice, and especially for Brad Stevens, who has done a magnificent job since taking over as coach of the Celtics a few years ago, coming from the college ranks when he took Butler to back-to-back Final Four appearances. He has made a great adjustment in the NBA, but the Celtics have done it without Kyrie Irving for about 2 months of the season, last 2 months of the season, and Gordon Hayward from the very beginning. You're going to have these two guys back next year, and it's very exciting. I mean, the Eastern Conference is still weak. Let's make no mistake about that. It is still weak, but you can, if you look at things, there will be improvement, hopefully down the line. And I tell you, just going over how the standings went this year, as I said, Toronto was the number one seed. They won the division this year, the Atlantic Division. Philadelphia, big surprise, big improvement, and the difference when last year Ben Simmons didn't even play due to injury. That was his rookie year last year, but it didn't happen. This year is his rookie year, and it took the team from a losing season last year to a 52-30 record this year. All right. Cleveland won their division. It was a little tighter this year in the Central because Indiana had an excellent season at 48-34. Milwaukee, this is a team that is looking to improve. They had a good season, made the playoffs with the Greek Freak. So we'll see what happens there with their new coach coming over from Atlanta. Detroit, as it says, their new coach is Dwayne Casey. I don't know how much of a difference he'll make with the Piston organization. Remains to be seen. He is a good coach, but it just couldn't get over the hump. And in the Southeast, Miami surprisingly won their division this year with virtually nobody's. But it's just to show you the great work by Pat Riley as president of basketball operations. I'll give Eric Spoelstra credit too as a coach, but I'm sorry, I don't see guys that were video guys, video operators or whatever, all of a sudden now become head coaches. I've always felt that they take the pretty much Polstra took direction from Pat Riley. Yeah, but either way, they won championships when LeBron was there, and they've made the playoffs a couple of times since he's left. But that's about it. The Wizards have to be restructured. I think I wasn't impressed with Scott Brooks' coaching this year. There might be some friction going on in that organization. And we'll see how next year goes. Charlotte, they have a new coach, and Orlando has a new coach as well. And we'll see how those two organizations. Charlotte, I don't know about them. They've been so inconsistent. This is definitely one of their worst years. 10 games, finishing 10 games under 500. And Orlando hasn't been right. And beyond, in all honesty, Orlando hasn't been right since Dwight Howard left, and that was a few years ago. That goes to show you how bad this organization has sunk. Okay, but in the West, as you know, Golden State won their division as usual. The Clippers finishing just 2 games over 500. Doc Rivers, I thought he was going to get the boot, but he didn't. So I don't know how they're going to do. They're basically starting over. They need a point guard. They need everybody, pretty much. The fact that they finished with a winning record, that was amazing. The Lakers, as I said, first year with Lonzo Ball at point. They finished better than I expected. They won 35 games this year, which is a lot more than I gave them credit for. There will be improvement, especially if Paul George and LeBron goes there. And they'll have a good draft, and this will be an improved Lakers team. Magic Johnson has always been a winner, and he is, as president of basketball operations, he is not going to stand pat and just watch this team lose. This is not the Lakers' way. So there will be improvement with the Laker organization. Sacramento and Phoenix, well, they're there. I don't see much improvement with either one of those two organizations right now. In the Southwest, Houston was the number one seed this year. They had the best record in the NBA with 65 wins and came up short. I wasn't sold on Houston in terms of being an NBA championship team anyway. They don't play defense. It's as simple as that. They don't play defense. And you cannot win without defense, especially in the playoffs. And they didn't get it done. You can only outscore teams, but so much. Okay. Perfect example. They averaged 112 points a game offensively during the regular season. They gave up 103. All right, that's that's not good. New Orleans, very surprised team this year. Finished their best year ever, 48 and 34. And as I said, they did it with half the season without DeMarcus Cousins. Tough break with him going down with the Achilles injury. He should be bigger. He should be better than ever now, coming back. And that tandem of Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins is going to be brutal for next season. San Antonio didn't have the kind of San Antonio season. They didn't win 50 games like they normally do. They won 47 this year. First time in a while that they've done that. And you're looking at a lot of things. Kyle Leonard most likely will not be in a Spurs uniform come next season. Where he goes right now, we don't know, remains to be seen. Then there's, to me right now, it looks like Greg Popovich will be coaching next season, although, you know, lost his wife of 40 years during the first round of the playoffs. Didn't coach the last two games of that playoff series. Maybe he'll come back. Not sure. You know, you're married to someone for 40 years and they're not there anymore. It's a tough, tough adjustment. And he's been coaching a long time. Been coaching about 20 years, and maybe it's time to step down. And I have the perfect candidate that would be perfect. One Becky Hammond. She would be the first female head coach in the NBA. Give her a shot. You never know. Mavericks and Memphis. Uh, I don't know. Rick Carlisle's still there, but I'll tell you that's mainly because Mark Cuban loves him, and he did bring him a championship a few years ago, so he's still there. How many more years of Dirk Nowitzki? I do not know. The man that needs to step down. He's going in the Hall of Fame, so there's no problem there. Then you have in the Northwest Portland, who won the division, but an embarrassing four-game sweep in the first round by New Orleans and Oklahoma City, an embarrassing first round exit at the hands of the Utah Jazz. That idea of Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony, yeah, how well did that work out? You know, so then you had Utah, who had a great season. Quinn Snyder should be a candidate once again for Coach of the Year. The Timberwolves had their best season with that young bunch in a while, 47 and 35. And then Denver. I'll tell you, Denver is surprising. That division, every team, Denver finished in last place, 10 games over 500. Ha, you talk about the strength of a division. They were by far the best division in the NBA. So, and I look for better things for them as well. One other note I want to talk about in terms of two teams, Portland and Toronto. One got swept in the first round, one got swept in the second round. The common denominator from both of these two teams is that they had their backcourts were two of the best backcourts in the NBA. With Portland, it was Lillard and McCullough, and with Toronto is Lowry, and well, you know who he is. The bottom line with this is you cannot win championships or expect to advance to the finals with just a backcourt that is providing all your offense. DeRozan. I knew I had it on the tip of my tongue. DeRozan and Lowry, Lillard and McCullough. Excellent backcourts, but a team cannot rely on just your point guard and your shooting guard to provide all your offense. And every time you look at their box scores, they're the ones scoring 20 or 30 points a game. What's going on with the front court? Okay. That has to be changed for both teams. You've got to get your front court more in the mix. You cannot rely mainly on your point guard and your shooting guard. It is not going to work. And it's a perfect example of it not working. It not working. Embarrassing sweeps. Embarrassing. Portland being swept in the first round by a team that only made the playoffs for the second time since becoming the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay. And you had Toronto being swept in the second round by Cleveland, who is not that good. Okay. And they were the number 4 seed, and you were the number 1 seed. That was, but, and the games pretty much weren't even close. So, you know, this is what I'm talking about. And things got to be done. Things got to be done. We have the upcoming draft come on Thursday. But one other thing, as I said, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors. This is a team that, if stayed together, okay, if stayed together, can win at least another 2, 3 more championships. I know they'll be working on Durant's contract. I don't think he's going anywhere. Klay Thompson has 1 more year left on this current contract. It comes up next. His contract is up come next year. I don't think he's going to go anywhere either. And the bottom line is this: this is a young team with great chemistry and great intelligence. There's a reason why they have been to 4 straight NBA finals and won 3 of them. Okay. This is a young group. Okay. This team together intact. If you have this team intact for at least another 5 years, they could give you at least another 3 championships. It's very possible. I do not doubt that. Great job by Steve Kerr and his coaching staff. It's a great organization. And be honest with you, if ask me, I'd take less money. I'll take whatever money I made and just play on and just continue to play with the team. That's it. Anyhow, this Thursday is the 2018 NBA draft. And want to go over this always mock drafts. Everybody want to put together their own draft of who they feel is going to be who could be the next superstar with their team, and it's basically teams draft out of need. So what I want to do is go over some of the not all of them, but certain draft picks, certain picks that people feel that these teams are going to select. I'm going to go over right now the lottery picks, and this is what some of them feel certain players will go where. The Phoenix Suns, they have the number 1 pick, and some people feel that the Suns will take DeAndre Ayton, center out of Arizona. This guy's 7'1", 260. He's got a wingspan of 7'5". Again, this is a Phoenix Suns team that needs a lot of things. And I figure what better way to start rebuilding your team with a center of his size, 7'1", 260. Why not? Why not? You know, he's a dominant center, excellent rebounder. So We'll see. The Sacramento Kings, who have the number 2 pick, some people feel that they'll take Marvin Bagley III. He's a power forward coming out of Duke, 6'11", 235. He's got a wingspan of 7'1". Okay. He's 19 years old. So he's got a lot of growing opportunity there. And some people compare him to Kevin Garnett. And I'm like, wow, that's that's a tall order there. So, let's see what he can do as Marvin Bagley. And I hate when people start comparing. Kevin Garnett's going to be a Hall of Famer. We don't know what this kid's going to do. All right. The Hawks have the number 3 pick, and some people feel that they'll select Jaren Jackson Jr., power forward out of Michigan State. I've seen this kid play. He's good. He's very good. 6'11", 240. So, again, very young. Plays good defense. So, we'll see. I think he'd be a good fit for the Hawks. Again, they need a lot of people. They need a lot of people. The Memphis Grizzlies pick 4th, and a lot of people think they'll pick Michael Porter Jr. He's a small forward from Missouri, 6'11", 215. Now, in my opinion, he's kind of light. All right, at 6'11", I know you're a small forward, but you need to bulk up a little bit, and especially if you're going to be in the paint. But the thing that it is most likely a guy like that with his size, you're going to see him a lot out on the perimeter, and that makes no sense to me. I don't like guys at 6'11" playing the perimeter. I mean, Durant gets away with it because he's an extraordinary talent, but I don't encourage guys of that height and size to be hanging around shooting threes. All right. The Mavericks with the number 5 pick, people are thinking that they're going to select Luka Doncic, shooting guard from Slovenia. They're going to get a European. 6'8", 225. Okay. Who knows? I mean, Dirk Nowitzki, who knows how many years left? This is a 6'8" shooting guard. I don't know if that'll work out for the Mavs. I wouldn't use a lot. You got a lottery pick. I would save somebody like Doncic if he's still available in the second round, if you got a second round pick. The Orlando Magic picks 6, and a lot of people are looking at them selecting Mohamed Bamba. He's a center from Texas, 7'1", 220. Now, you're 7'1", but 220, that's kind of light. The kind of center that if you're not mobile, you're going to get hurt. And I can see it now with him. I'm not sure if that's a good pick for a lottery pick. You need people, but at 7'1" and you're only 220, no, that doesn't work for me. Chicago Bulls pick 7th. A lot of people feel that they should take at power forward Wendell Carter Jr. coming out of Duke, 6'10", 260. Now that size, that's what I'm talking about. That's the perfect prototype for a power forward. Okay, and the Bulls do need some size and strength in the paint. Okay, they need rebounding strength, and this could be a good pick for them if they went in that direction. Okay, the Cavaliers, they got the 8th pick, and this is coming from the Nets. And a lot of people feel that the Cavaliers will take at point guard Trae Young, 6'2", 177 pounds. out of Oklahoma. He's one of he's been talked about a lot amongst the NBA executives, and some people felt he may go to the Knicks, who actually pick ninth behind Cleveland, and they feel that the Knicks would select at shooting guard Lonnie Walker. This is 6'4", 200 pounds out of Miami. I don't care who the Knicks get, man. To be honest with you, if you can't play defense and if you don't have consistent offense, it don't mean nothing. So the Knicks can take anybody they want. To me personally, they're going to be without Porzingis for much of next season with the torn ACL. So, and I ain't crazy about Tim Hardaway Jr. And you don't know the status of Joakim Noah, whether he's coming back to the Knicks. I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, he's got $72 million of the Knicks money thanks to Phil Jackson. Tim Hardaway's got $71 million of the Knicks money thanks to Steve Mills and Scott Barry. Now, the Knicks are just throwing money away. They're throwing money to people that are not worth it. So, if Lonnie Walker was to go to the Knicks, it would not make a world of difference. Okay? Plain and simple. Let me see if there's any other players of note. The Sixers have the 10th pick coming from the Lakers, and some people feel that they'll select Kevin Knox. This is a small forward, 6'9", 215, coming from Kentucky. He's a very good player. Seen him play. And I feel if he lives up to his potential, could be an excellent fit right now coming off the bench for Philly. This is a team that went from a losing season the year before to a playoff spot this year and made some great strides. So we'll see if they were to pick Kevin Knox, that could work out for them. The Clippers, who need some restructuring, they have the 12th pick coming from the Pistons, and some people feel that they would take at small forward Mikal Bridges out of Villanova, 6'8", 210. It's going to be hard to replace the shoes of Blake Griffin, but you got to start somewhere. They also have the 13th pick, right back-to-back picks, and with the 13th pick, some people feel that they'll take Shai Gilgeous Alexander, what a name, point guard, 6'6", 180. Good height for a point guard at 6'6", but need to put on a little more weight. But at the point guard, you probably have some excellent passing skills, you know, so we'll see there. Spurs pick 18th. Some people feel they'll go with Eli Okobo, a point guard from France. Okay, that's interesting. He's 6'3", 194. A point guard from France that will eventually replace a current point guard from France in Tony Parker. Okay, it could make sense if he's able to be the kind of player that Tony Parker is. Well, was. These leg injuries have really slowed him down to the point where he's coming off the bench now. But he's pretty much going to be on the way out. So I guess San Antonio loves their Europeans, and they'll take another a Frenchman. That's if it goes that way. A lot of shooting guards would eventually be taken in the lower rounds, according to NBA people. So the Nets finally got a pick. This coming from the Toronto Raptors. They got the 29th pick, and some people feel that they would select Omari Spellman, 6'9", a power forward, 6'9", 250 from Villanova. That would be a very good pick for the Nets. Kind of player that you can try to build a future around. They've got some good players right now that are up and coming and aggressive players. This could be if they go that if he's available at 29, which that's a stretch. But if he would be available at 29, I would suggest the Nets to take him, plain and simple. So that's how I feel about that. It should be a very interesting draft. The draft is all only 2 rounds, but the thing is, you don't know if you do your scouting well, then you can make the most. You can make the most of it. It's all about good scouting. That's what we're talking about here, and it's all about scouting. And you can get a diamond in the rough. You can, and even if some of these players, you're not going to get drafted. You can always go on as a walk on, or some executives will see a player that no one else would think of. That's how it goes. That's how you got to do it. Also, want to give some congratulations. Also, congratulations with the U.S. Open golf tournament this past weekend. Congratulations to Brooks Koepka on winning his second U.S. Open in a row, back to back. The first golfer to do so since Curtis Strange did it in the 80s. Congratulations to him. That course is very tough course. One of the toughest courses to win a major. One of the most interesting things about the U.S. Open this weekend, Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, those three didn't even make the cut going into Saturday, which was strange. But that's how it is. Tiger Woods, you got to somehow feel for him. I don't think at this point he'll ever win another major again. Making a comeback is fantastic, but it's not going to be enough to end his career. So it's too bad. It's really too bad. Also, congratulations to a horse, Justify, on being the Triple Crown winner, winning the Belmont Stakes a couple of Saturdays ago. And congratulations to that horse. I'm not a horse racing guy, but when I know a horse wins the Triple Crown, you gotta give them their props. Okay, baseball right now. I want to talk about what went down this Sunday at Yankee Stadium, Old Timers Day, which always is great fun. And talk about certain players. Whitey Ford always gets a great ovation. But this year, the player, the old timer with the biggest ovation Sunday was a first time old timer in Andy Pettit. He got a standing ovation, to be honest with you. And that's good. That's great. I still believe that Andy Pettit belongs in the Hall of Fame, despite what people say, talking about, oh well, his ERA was high. I mean, give me a break. The man set records, playoff records for playoff wins and strikeouts. I mean, the guy has 19 playoff wins, 5 of them World Series wins. Hell, Roger Clemens can't claim that. None of the great pitchers out there can claim that. And you're going to try to keep this man out of the Hall of Fame because of his ERA? You got to be out of your mind. Please. But he got a nice ovation and deservingly so. He's the first of the core four, which also includes Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and Jorge Posada. Okay, might as well put in Bernie Williams there as well. It was a great event. The weather was beautiful. So the Yankees lost the regular game afterwards, but a lot of times that doesn't surprise me because a lot of old timer games, Yankees lose the scheduled game anyway. But it was good to see people like Bobby Brown, Nick Swisher. He's an old timer, is amazing. A fan, definitely a fan favorite with the Yankees, and so I was glad he got a very nice ovation as well. One thing of note, there was a snub in terms of the old timers days, and that was Jim Leyritz. He was not invited. Don't know why, but it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't feel bad. You don't get invited. You don't get invited. It is what it is. I am curious though when later on this season the Yankees will honor the 1998 Yankees that won 114 games in the regular season, went on to win 125 games overall and win the World Series. Laris was on that team. So I'm interested to see if he will be there, if he will get invited. So, it's interesting. But the Yankees right now are the only team in Major League Baseball to actually still have Old Timers Day. No one else does it, or not in the style that the Yankees do it. And I always feel that the way the Yankees do it has always been the best. The Mets had tried it back in the '80s. I think they did some Old Timers days, but they don't do it anymore, and they should. I mean, that's one way to put people in the seats there at Citi Field because Lord knows the way things are going with them, especially this year. You need you need some large fan support. Speaking of the Mets, so far they've won three in a row. Surprise, really. Last night they finally gave Jacob DeGrom a win. He hasn't won a game in like a month since May 18th. He has a 5-2 record. His ERA is under 2, which is amazing. He's had a lot of no decisions. He should be at least 10-2. It's terrible. He's one of the best pitchers in the major leagues with only a 5-2 record. Now, chances are, most likely, he's going to be the lone Met representative of the All Star game, and it's embarrassing. He's got to get more wins up there to make it a little more credible. But it's embarrassing for him not to only have 5 wins at this point. The Yankees, on the other hand, they're doing it with, I tell you, they're doing it with the bottom of their lineup, and it's crazy. They got their top hitters, okay, right now are pretty much they're helter skelter in getting it done. Judge is Judge. He's having a good year. He's having a very good year. Okay, 18 homers, 46 RBIs, 275 average. He's good. He's good. It's Stanton and Sanchez that need to pull up their weight. Right now, Stanton starting to hit a little bit, but got the average up to 252, 16 homers, 39 RBIs. Okay, struck out now 95 times. I mean, that's all right. Judge has struck out 94. but Judge has better numbers right now. Then you look at Gary Sanchez, who a lot of people, some people talk nonsense about wanting to send him back down to the minors. I'm like, what are you out of your mind? He's just not hitting this year the way they would like. Okay. But look, he's batting 194, which is not good. He has 13 homers, he has 39 RBIs. Okay. For most catchers are not supposed to be power hitters. He happens to be one of them. So I'll cut him some slack, mainly because he plays excellent defense. And that is the key. He, in terms of throwing runners out at any base, he still has problems with pass balls. But again, with continuous work, that can improve. But he's got a gun for an arm, and he'll throw. It's very difficult to steal on. Very difficult. And I give him a lot of credit for that. He's always been like that. So I'll cut him some slack. The key to the success of the Yankees so far this season has been the little guys, the bottom of the order, and sometimes the top of the order. If you're talking about Aaron Hicks, Miguel Andujar, who usually bats around seventh. Okay, Andujar, 286 batting average, 8 homers, 28 RBIs. Okay, then you got Gleyber Torres, who usually bats ninth. Okay, 287, 13 homers, 34 RBIs. This is coming from the ninth spot. Okay, there now that's amazing. And then you're talking about Aaron Hicks, who's been on a tear lately, 246 average, which will eventually pick up. But right now he's hot. 9 homers, 30 RBIs. Out of those 9 homers, 2 of them have been inside the park homers. Okay, this is the this these are the guys that right now that are really picking up the slack for the bigger guys, the big guns. Okay, you throw in some Tyler Austin, 8 homers, 23 RBIs, and pretty much Austin Romine, the backup catcher, 324 average, 4 homers, 20 RBIs. This is your backup. So I'm not worried about the catching position. And I'm forgetting Didi Gregorius, who is in a major slump in the month of May, has started to pick it up again, batting 257 right now. He's got 14 homers and 40 RBIs. He has made people somewhat forget about Jeter. You don't forget completely about Jeter, but with Gregorius playing shortstop as he does, you don't always think about Jeter because this is a guy of the future. He has done a great job on defense and at the plate. He's starting to hit again. So, you know, then there's the pitching. Severino right now is 10-2. Okay, with 118 strikeouts. His ERA is 209. It's great. Tanaka was doing well. He was, I think, 7-3. He got hurt running the bases, so he's on the disabled list. Not for long though. But Sonny Gray is starting to pick it up. He's 5-4, won last night, and if he can continue to improve, he's going to be a very important pitcher down the stretch for the Yankees. Right now he's the number 4 starter. The number 3 starter is CC Sabathia. More or less now he is elevated to 2 because of the injury to Tanaka. He is 4-2. but he's got a decent ERA at 3.30. He's hanging in there, and that's all you can ask. So this is a Yankee team right now that is still in first place. They're battling the Red Sox, and that's the key. You got the best record in baseball, and you're still battling. You have yet to pull away from the Red Sox. Across the board, they're ninth in batting average with 251. I thought it was lower than that, but really. But they're third in runs scored at 363. They're fifth in earned run average, which is a surprise, 3.42. Mainly, a lot of that is due to Severino. And with the WHIP, they're third with a 1.15. So that's the Yankees. Right now, Aaron Boone has got to be very pleased with how things are going right now, and they just got to keep it going. Both leagues this season so far has been kind of up and down for several teams. As I said, in the American League East, Yankees are 47 and 22, Boston 49 and 24. So right now they're both tied. Well, actually, their Yankees are percentage points ahead of the Red Sox. Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore pull up the rear. Baltimore right now has already lost 50 games. They just now won 20. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if Buck Showalter is fired by the time of the All Star break. Really, he has no pitching, and right now his hitting has become under par as well. So Tampa Bay and Toronto, they're just hanging in there, but I don't expect much from them. But Baltimore is pretty much done for the year already. In the American League Central, Cleveland having a subpar year, but in a weak division, they're in first place, only 5 games ahead, above 500 at 38 and 33. And second is Detroit Tigers, who is only 1 game under 500, and they were expected to finish dead last in their division and be one of the worst teams in the majors. It has not been like that so far. They've actually won 5 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, and they're hanging in there. They're hanging in. They're just 3 games in back of Cleveland in second place. So that is not bad. Also, the Minnesota Twins under Paul Molitor, they're 31 and 37. They're 5.5 games out of first. So this is a division right now where between Cleveland, Detroit, and Minnesota, 5.5 games separates all three of them, in that division. And then you have the White Sox and Kansas City pulling up the air. Kansas City has really fallen on some tough times. They have lost 7 in a row, and they're 1-9 in their last 10. They're going back to their old ways when they had losing seasons for like 20 years. They're going back to that. The those years of 2014 and 2015 are done. They went to back-to-back World Series. They lost to the Giants in 2014, beat the Mets in 2015, but it's been downhill ever since. They've lost some key players to do the free agency from that 2015 team, and they're finding hard right now to rebuild. So we'll see what Ned Yost does at this point. So how the mighty have fallen. All right, and in the American League West, Houston and Seattle are dogging it out right now. Houston in first place by 2 games over Seattle. It's amazing how well Seattle has played since the suspension of Robinson Cano with the PEDs. It's amazing. Okay, they weren't pretty much doing anything with him in the lineup. He's out of the lineup. They're now 20 games over 500. There's a story in there somewhere. It's going to come out eventually, but there's something going on there, that we don't know about yet. The Angels, 3 games over 500. They've been up and down team all year. At one point, they were in first place. Now they're in third. They have lost 3 in a row. They're 3-7 their last 10 games, and they're being chased by Oakland, who's at 500, and then Texas at 30-44. So now in the National League, this division is very interesting. The National League East, there are two teams that I felt that weren't going to do anything this year are pretty much playing well. The Atlanta Braves in first place, 3.5 games ahead of Washington at 42-29. Okay, if this keeps up and Atlanta makes the playoffs, I pretty much feel that their manager should be manager of the year in the National League because that is tremendous what they're doing right now. And Washington, who started out the season lousy, had picked it up. They're 6 games over 500, but they've lost. They've actually they're 3-7 in their last. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. So apparently Bryce Harper. I don't know if he's doing this to shake up the team itself, but he shaved off his beard, people. Now that's interesting. All right. Some people feel that with him being a free agent after this year, he shaved his beard right around the time when the Yankees played played them yesterday in makeup games. And I'm like, that's interesting. Are you trying to let Brian Cashman know that, you know, I'm willing to come to the Yankees and I'm willing to shave my beard to do it? Yeah, just something to throw out there. You never know. So, Phillies, who also started off the season on a bad note, they played well. They've won 3 in a row right now. They're 38-32. And the Mets have won 3 in a row, but don't Met fans, please don't get excited. They're doing this. The pitching really has kept the team afloat from being embarrassing. The problem is they just don't score no runs. And their injuries. I mean, Noah Syndergaard right now is out because of a bad finger now. I mean, I understand this. Cespedes, again with the quad injuries. Jay Bruce hasn't done a damn thing. I don't know what's going on here. But this kid, Brandon Nimmo, this guy is a keeper. Don't let him go. Bottom line, do not let him go. He you could build a team around this guy. He's energetic. This guy can run the bases. Oh my God, he is fast. Had an inside the park homer the other day in Colorado. Amazing speed. So keep this guy. And then you got the Miami Marlins. No brainer there. 29-44 in last place. 14 games out of first. I'll tell you this much: be very careful with this team in the months of August and September. They're pretty much out of it, uh, but they're playing competitive baseball. And this could be a very dangerous team in August and September against teams that are looking to win a division or trying to get a wild card spot. So be very, very careful about teams like that. In the National League Central, the Milwaukee Bucks 42-30 in that division, a half a game ahead of the Cubs at 40-29. That should be a good race down the stretch. Then you got the Cardinals, 4 games over 500. Whether they put themselves in the position to be a wild card, it remains to be seen. But you never know. We still got some good baseball left, man. We have the rest of June. We got July, August, and September. So anything can happen. The Pirates at 500. I don't know what expects much from them. And then you got the Cincinnati Reds at 26 and 45. They're not going to be. I don't even consider them a dangerous team down the stretch. So teams you don't have to worry. Playoff playoff potential teams you don't even have to worry about Cincinnati, in my opinion. National League West is interesting. Arizona, 40 and 32 right now. They're 7 and 3 in their last 10 games. They're trying to keep ahead of the Dodgers, who has been playing better baseball of late. They're 5 games over 500. They're 8 and 2 in their last 10 games. So they're starting to turn it on. And then you've got the Giants at 3 games under 500, 35 and 38. They're 3 and 7 in their last 10 games. But don't count out a Bruce Bochy managed team. I think that they can make a move at any time as well. Colorado 34 and 38. It seems like that altitude tends to work against them a lot more than anything else. Last night the Mets scored 12 runs on them. Now this is a team. Bruce ain't doing anything. Cespedes is not in the lineup. Okay. Todd Frazier is so-so. They're doing it with kids. They scored 12 runs, people. The Mets, 12 runs. No joke. Okay. And then you got the Padres in last place. Not a bad way. Right now they are the best last place team in the majors at 34 and 40. So watch out for this team in the stretch run in September. Okay. That's the way it's looking right now. I want to turn the attention to, now that we have sports gambling, okay, which now teams, now that we have gambling now, you've got, uh, I look in the papers now and I see more odds making type stuff than ever before. It is crazy. I'm going to talk about the odds of the teams that may win the World Series this year. Okay. This is a poll taken right after the World Series last year, November 2nd, 2017. And already you got the Astros at the time when the opening odds were set, they were 6 to 1. Currently, right now, they're 5 to 1 to win. Okay. The Dodgers, 13 and 2 at November 2nd. 13 to 2 odds. They are now 10 to 1. The Yankees at the time, November 2nd, 13 to 2. Now, with the kind of season they've had so far, they're 5 to 1. Hmm. Shades of 1998, people. Okay. Keep that in mind. The Indians right now currently are 17 to 2. Cubs are 17 to 2. The Red Sox right now are 7 to 1 odds. That could be a good bet. The Nationals are 8 to 1. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. And then there's some that are quite embarrassing. Well, right off the bat, here's one. At the time, November 2nd, the Mets were 30 to 1 odds. Now They're 75 to 1. 75 to 1. Mm, mm, mm. Blue Jays 250 to 1. And this is current we're talking about here. All of a sudden now the Mariners are 18 to 1 odds to win the World Series. They got to make the playoffs first, people. So, all you gamblers out there, I would not put my bets on them right now, even though they are playing very good baseball. Here is, oh my God, the Baltimore Orioles at November 2nd was 40 to 1 odds to win the World Series this year. Now, currently, they are 3,000 to 1. Lord Jesus. Mm, mm, mm. If their GM saw this, I think Buck Showalter would be gone now. Seriously. The Atlanta Braves on November 2nd was 60 to 1. Now they're 15 and 1 because they played some excellent ball over the last 2 months. The Marlins, right now, 2,500 to 1. The Royals, who in 2015 won the World Series, they are now 2,500 to 1. Here's one. The Phillies on November 2nd, 125 to 1. Now, 25 to 1. That's how some of the bettors are doing with baseball. Okay. I know I have one here with basketball. Let me just finish. I'll finish off the evening giving you because I found that to be interesting. Okay. This is NBA. All right, just briefly. As of 6/9, as of June 9th, the Warriors, even money. Currently, even money. Okay. The Rockets right now are 72 odds. Celtics 5-1, 5 to 1. 76ers 5 to 1. Here's something interesting. The Lakers 10 to 1. Hmm. Here's another interesting one. Cleveland, who just came off the NBA Finals for the fourth straight year. They are 18 to 1 to go back. Unbelievable. The Knicks are 100 to 1. No brainer there. The Nets are 500 to 1. No brainer there. And that's pretty much how it goes. The Thunder, 60 to 1. The Raptors are 60 to 1. That is about it. Well, on that note, that is it for me. And I'm glad to be back. And definitely we'll check you guys out next week. And until then, as I always say, be good and be safe. Take care, everybody.
Get at me for features.